What's up, guys? Welcome back to Sunday Sports Club podcast, a podcast all about sports told by a woman, and that woman is me. Hi, guys. I'm Allison Cooch, your host, and today I'm joined by a very special, very cool guest. And the last time I talked to her in podcast form, I had just gotten married. So everybody welcome Shawn Johnson East. She is a 4 times Olympic medalist, entrepreneur, author, mom of 3, dog mom of 2.
Yep.
The list goes on and on. So welcome to Sunday Sports Club.
Thank you for having me. Great to see you again. I still can't believe it's been that long. It's been, many years.
A minute. Yeah. Me and Isaac were on your podcast when we had literally just got married. Please, the chaos is entering the screen.
That is my parents' cat, by the way. She is crazy.
I also have a cat, which a lot of people don't know that, but every once in a while she just makes a little cameo. But yeah, a lot of life has happened since you and I last talked. I think you only had 2 kids the last time we talked.
I was gonna say, how long have you been married?
2021.
Okay, so yeah, I just had my second kid probably. Now 3 kids, 2 dogs, parents' cat. No, oh my gosh.
No, literally a lot of chaos. I'm honestly in awe. Did you and your husband always know that you wanted 3 kids?
I think it's really funny. So I am an only child. I was raised in like the most perfect, beautiful, zero chaos home. I think that's why I was such a good gymnast, because I'm like an anal perfectionist and I like control. And then I married into a family. My husband is one of 5, and it's absolute chaos. And I just kind of fell in love with that. It's something I never knew as a kid. So when we got married and started talking kids, we knew we wanted at least 2. Mm-hmm. I mean, God willing, and like all the things.
Right.
But I was open to like 3 or 4. And then fast forward, we have 3 kids, and I just feel like our family's complete. I also feel like I might be going insane because we have 3 kids under the age of 6. They're very close. So it's been a lot, but it's also amazing. I do love the chaos. I love staying busy. I love the logistics of it. You're going to knock my computer over, Kat. And it's just been fun. But yeah, I don't know if I ever imagined my life like this when I was younger, because I didn't know what like a big family looked like.
The big families I've always been in awe of, because I grew up with 2 other siblings, but we just didn't have a huge extended family. I think I have 1 or 2 cousins. When I say like 1 or 2, it's like I have like stuff. It's complicated, okay?
Yeah.
But I always wanted a bigger family because I liked the chaos. I liked the idea of like going over to this person's house for this holiday and this person's house. And whereas with my family, it was very like, okay, all the holidays are here. We're all staying here. But my family always had an open door policy because I think they wanted more chaos and they didn't want more kids. So it was like anybody who like doesn't have a place to go for holidays, like the door was always open. And now I'm like, well, I guess I can have as many kids as I want. That sounds like a lot, but like, it's so weird that you can like grow your own family as much as you want. But it is crazy coming from you being an only child.
Yeah. It is, and it's rocked my parents' world as well. So grandma and grandpa don't know how to deal with it. But I truly love it. Like the difference from my upbringing, which I loved, by the way, like zero negative, comments on being an only child. My parents are my best friends. They literally live like 2 doors down from us. We're building a property right now, and we're all going to live together on like a multi-generational compound.
So
I mean, we couldn't be closer. But I do love the big family dynamic. So it's definitely taken time to get used to and figure out how to do the whole big family thing. But we just came from a cousin's camp where we had 50 kids, like my kids' generation, and they're all related.
Oh,
and it's just fun. It's
that
fun
sounds like a lot of fun.
It's so cool.
But as I've heard a lot of discourse when it comes to being the only child. I made a TikTok maybe like last week, and I made the comment about like, oh, like having a second kid. And so many people were in the comments, and there was a lot of discourse between Is it not rude? Is it bad to only have one child? Like, are you doing your child a disservice? But it's interesting hearing from you. Like, you
Yeah.
were like, it didn't affect you.
It didn't. I will say, like, I grew up wishing I had siblings. Um, but I also don't feel like I missed out on anything. I think that's
Mhm.
one of the reasons, again, I fell in love with gymnastics is I found such a community of like best friends and almost sisters in my teammates.
Mhm.
So I loved going to the gym and I loved hanging out with them. But I also got to have such special and very intimate time with my parents. Again, they were my best friends.
Yeah.
I was kind of like a little adult growing up because I got to go to do everything that my parents did. I was always tagging along. Um, so I don't think it's doing them a disservice. I will say the only thing that I have learned over time, seeing like my husband and his friends and like friends of mine, is as an adult, it is different. As a kid, I don't
Mhm.
really feel like I missed out on anything. I had like different lifestyle than other kids who had a bunch of siblings. Um, but as an adult, not having those siblings and those like nieces and nephews and
Mhm.
having those people to kind of do life with outside of your friends, I do wish I had that,
Yes.
and that was a huge reason why we had 3 kids, and I could probably can be convinced of a 4th later on
If
if
you're
I
saying
was
that
like talking
now,
to kids.
there's a chance of you having a 4th in the future.
I mean, it would have to be a long way away, but it's only because this idea of, like, I want them to have each other when they grow up.
Mhm. No, I totally understand that. I feel like you have quickly, like, fallen in love with the chaos that n is now your life, and
Yeah.
you have so much that's going on. It's so interesting to hear, like, going from, growing up and being so disciplined with gymnastics at such a young age to now you're like, "Oh, I love the chaos, like,
Yeah.
bring it on, like, we just added another dog, like, this and that." So, when you introduce yourself to somebody you've never met before, what do you say?
I usually hide everything because I am the last person to be like, "Hey, do you know I was a gymnast?" But it's usually like, "I'm a mom. I had 3 kids." That's about it.
You
And
so you
then
just leave out the whole, like, gold medaling, like, all of that.
I leave out everything. Yeah. I It feels like such a different lifetime ago, and
Mhm.
honestly, I do feel like there has been such an identity shift. I retired when I was 19, and though so incredible and I'm so proud, I just don't feel like that person anymore, especially being a mom. Like my kids' little participation ribbon for their first season of soccer at the age of 2, I think is way cooler than like the Olympic medal. So it just feels like a completely different person.
That is one hilarious too. It's so interesting that you retired at the age of 19.
Yeah.
I'm like and it's crazy, I can relate to the it feels like a different life because even though Isaac retired from the NFL just last year,
Yeah.
I sometimes forget he ever played professional
Yeah.
football. So he'll say
Oh
something
yeah.
and I'm like, "Oh, you're going for a run? Like, that's
Yeah.
interesting." He's like, "You know I was an athlete, right?" I'm like, "Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah." Like, I
Yeah.
totally forgot about that. And it's crazy how quickly life changes. What do you think has changed your life the most? Do you think having kids?
Oh, 1000%. I feel like, especially for me, just as a mom, I feel like it changed everything. It changed how I looked, my outlook on life, how I perceived myself, how I looked at my mistakes, and just everything in life. I feel like I became a completely different person for the better,
Yeah.
honestly, because you know, I feel like I was crippled by the anxieties of being a professional athlete, and then that
Mhm.
kind of all went away when I became a mom.
What rocked your world? 0 to 1, 1 to 2, or 2 to 3?
Um, 2 to 3 for sure. I hate to say that because like, I have such a hard time. I say this a lot, so I hope my 3-year-old doesn't grow up and be like, "Oh, I was such a burden." Um, but he was just 0 to 1 is very hard. That changes your entire life. I mean, your entire lifestyle,
Right.
you change. So that was very difficult. 1 to do 2 felt the easiest. I think because I wasn't afraid of the baby thing anymore, and I had kind of like gotten the first out.
Right.
Um, but 2 to 3, I went in so confident, thinking like this is my third. I know exactly what to do. I know how to like sleep train them and feed them. And I had done the pumping thing and I had done the nursing. Like I had done everything between the two of
Right.
them. And this little kid who is the love of my life and he's incredible, but he came out and everything was different. And he wouldn't sleep, he wouldn't eat, he was unhappy. We had to figure out so many things with him and it just rocked my world. And it was in the middle of December. We couldn't even go outside for a walk. It was I just had such a hard time figuring this little dude out that it was the hardest. He rocked us
And
for
now,
sure.
how old is he now?
He's a year and a half, and now he's thriving. We're
Oh,
having
wait,
such a great time.
him and Scotty were born around the same time then. She was
Yeah.
September 9th.
Oh yeah, we're December 12th.
Okay, that's so fun. This age, I've quickly realized is like the most fun that I've had because you can like
Great.
interact with them, but it's also the most terrifying because they have like so
Yes.
many opinions.
I was gonna say I never know which way people are gonna go because this is like I hate to say it, my least favorite age.
Mhm.
It is so much fun, especially for your first. This is your first, right?
Yes.
I didn't miss a second kid. Okay.
Not
First
that
I
I
know
know
if
of.
you have a second kid. It is amazing with your first because you get to see their personality come out and you get to start playing and you get to do stuff. But I feel like once you get through this phase, you're going to be like, oh, yeah, that was pretty hard. They can move and they can,
Yeah,
like, they're mobile, but they can't really communicate. And there's a lot of like
whining.
liabilities.
Oh.
They're massive liabilities. And I love the 3. I love when they turn 3 because they're little humans. You can keep their attention, you can teach them more. But
Mhm.
yeah, the 1 to 2 is very difficult for me.
Ooh, okay, that's good to know though, because I feel like every stage I've gotten out of, I've been like, "Okay, that was the hardest." And then every stage is like my new favorite, but
Yeah.
then in hindsight, I'm like, "Wait, that was hard." What was my favorite about that?
Yeah.
I feel like this maybe just like parenthood in general.
I mean, I think that's the rest of our life because
Yeah.
when they start like dating and then getting married and like we're going to be like this is impossible to handle. So, I don't know how we'll
I'm
never get a break
terrified.
ever, which is
Yeah.
great. We signed up for this, but
No, it's terrifying, but like the best thing to ever happen to you all wrapped into one.
yes.
And it growing up, you had a very interesting childhood to me because I grew up like very relaxed when it came to sports. Like I would skip a few days here and there. Like we do all these vacations and whatnot. Like I didn't treat my sport growing up like a job, but you immediately started treating it like a job and it became very serious very quick. So
Yes.
now that you have kids, do you have the same discipline when it comes to sports with your kids?
0%. Well, yes and no. Okay. How do I explain this? um, I was very, very disciplined and I just kind of progressed very quickly. So I made the national team when I was 12 and started traveling internationally, which sounds ridiculous to say. I used to think I was an adult back then. I'm like, I was literally a baby. And then I competed at the Olympics when I was 16. So, yes, that's insane. And I even look back on it as a parent and I'm like, how is that possible? But I had a very normal childhood, like leading up to that. My parents put me in gymnastics just like we would put our kids in. I started like a mommy and me class. We were just like looking for activity. I was a really active 1, 2 year old. And they're like, we need to find an outlet for her energy. They tried ballet. I hated it. Um, Put me in a gymnastics gym, fell in love with a trampoline, and I would come home tired. And so they were like, this is a win for
This
us
is
as
great.
parents. Yes, as we all know. Um, and honestly, I did that for years. I did like the 1 or 2 classes a week as it progressed. I then went on to do soccer on top of that. I tried track in like middle school. I danced. I did all these different things. So that was very, very normal in the context of like I wasn't disciplined. I would skip practices. I would,
Yeah.
just like any other kid. Um, but I do remember around the age of like 12, I don't even know what grade that is anymore.
Me
Eighth,
neither.
ninth, eighth, seventh. Um, Having a conversation with my coach where he was kind of like, this is getting more intense. The next step would be to try to kind of go for this national team and start competing. And that was when I kind of had to weed things out and become a not so ordinary child, and ended up giving up, the track and soccer and dance and got to be very disciplined. But I was just obsessed with it. I'm a very type A, perfectionist driven personality, which I see in my daughter now, which is terrifying. Um, I don't know how to mom
Yeah,
that.
how to parent that.
Yeah, no, I'm like, just chill out. But I was so obsessed with it. And so I was so driven by going back and learning more and doing better. So for me, it was completely led by myself and not led by people around me or my parents. They desperately just wanted me to have a normal childhood.
Mhm.
So with my kids, I'm trying to do the same exact thing that my parents did, which is just like show my kids opportunities. We've tried things where my kids are like, absolutely not. I hate everything about this. And I'm like, great, we will never go back. I just forfeited, your tuition to do that, but whatever. But just trying to show them different outlets and see what they kind of latch on to. And when
Mhm.
they latch on to something, I kind of try to foster it, but not burn them out. Um, but let them lead it. So
Yeah,
like I could care less. I'm not trying to like breed a successful, athlete. I just want them
right.
to find something that they love because I remember that as a kid being the best feeling.
It's actually surprising for me to find that out is, like, it was like, you had very normal childhood, like, you were doing other sports, you were having fun, and it was more so, like, you making the decision, which I feel
Mhm.
like so many people or even other people that went through the same thing you did had it
Yeah,
very differently.
very.
I have a hyperfixation with a sweatshirt that I'm currently wearing, and I got it on Nuuly. I am wearing the most comfortable sweatshirt. It's from the brand Boys Lie, and I've been wearing it for the past 7 days. Nuuly has it all. They have sweatshirts, they have dresses, they have jackets, they have seasonal things, they have formal things, or, if you just wanna lounge in something, they have that too. I am the perfect person for Nuuly, and Nuuly is the perfect clothing subscription for me because one, I like to over fixate or hyper fixate on certain clothing items. And the fact that they have the ability, you can go out and just outright purchase it at a discount, I truly love. But also, sometimes I like to switch it up. And that's another reason I love Nuuly because I'm always switching it up. So, if you guys have never heard of Nuuly before, Nuuly is a subscription clothing rental service that's all about helping you have fun and get creative with your style. Renting from Nuuly allows me to shift my gears in my wardrobe without completely overhauling my closet, although sometimes that's necessary, but it can also be very expensive, and Nuuly helps out with that. Every month, I rent 6 items from Nuuly's shared closet of thousands of styles for everything they have going on. So, whether you have a wedding coming up or vacation, you can make sure to pick out items for your events that month. And nobody has seen you in that outfit. You get to return it. It's a win win situation. I kind of love that I get to try out trending styles, colors, silhouettes, and then I just send them back when I want something new. And also, Newly takes care of everything from shipping to laundry. I can even pause without paying a fee if I need to take a break for any reason. So again, Nuuly is a subscription clothing rental service. So for just $98 a month, you get any 6 styles each month and access to thousands of styles, whether that be dresses, jackets, cute patterns, and also brands that you know and love. And again, the option to buy what you love at a discount, which might have to happen with the sweatshirt that I'm currently wearing. Nuuly is a great value at $98 a month for any 6 styles, but right now you can get $28 off your first month of Nuuly when you sign up with the code Sunday. Just go to nuuly.com, that's Nuuly with 2 U's, and enter code Sunday and sign up to get $28 off your first month. That's Nuuly, Nuuly.com, Nuuly with 2 U's with code Sunday. Nuuly, a subscription clothing rental. Change your clothes. If your summer itinerary is anything like mine, you are probably on the go. And it's a lot of different things going on. Like in the morning, I might be, going to the grocery store and picking up some groceries. And then in the afternoon, I'm hitting the beach. And then later on at night, I'm going to dinner. And I honestly need a shoe that is going to fit all of those things and be comfortable. And that is why I have fallen in love with Vionic. So, if you guys have never heard of Vionic before, Vionic's exclusive VioMotion technology is kind of what sets them apart. They began revolutionizing medical orthotics, and today they are committed to harnessing that medical foundation in the advancement of biomechanics to engineer significantly better performing shoes that strengthen your natural movement while aligning and balancing you feet first. So essentially, they're really comfortable shoes and they're made to fit your feet, which I love and I have needed for so long. So I have a few of their pairs of shoes. I have the Bay, which is a fresh take on nautical style. So perfect for, I don't know if you're going on a yacht. I'm not going on any yachts, but in Orange County, we have these things called Duffy boats, and it just kind of fits the vibe. So it has a buttery, soft leather upper and jute detailing. The slip on delivers laid back comfort, but with a relaxed kind of vibe. And the deconstruction design feels really effortless, while the supportive, contoured footbed ensures all day comfort. Can you imagine like slipping off of a boat and falling into the ocean? That's besides the point. But some of their other popular shoes that I also own are their Uptown Willa, their Uptown Loafer, and then you guys know I just talked about the Bay. I love Vionic shoes and my feet love them just as much as I do. So if you guys are interested in trying out Vionic, you can use code Sunday at checkout for 15% off your entire order at www.vionicshoes.com when you log into your account. First time use only. Vionic shoes, wearable well-being for your feet. I think we can all agree that the wellness space is crowded with gimmicks and quick fixes, but long-term performance, it takes the right foundation. So that's why I'm so excited to partner with Momentous to talk about the Woman's 3. It's a simple science-backed system created with Dr. Stacey Sims, one of the world's leading experts in female physiology. Together, they don't just create another product, they're actually addressing what women actually need in every stage of life. The system focuses on iron, calcium, and vitamin D3. So these three nutrients are often overlooked, but critical for energy, bone health, recovery, and resilience. And it's delivered the way it matters, AM and PM doses. They're optimized to avoid nutrient interference and also boost absorption. And one of my favorite parts is that every ingredient in the Woman's 3 is NSF certified for sport. So it's the gold standard in independent testing. It's not the industry norm, it's a momentous standard. And that means it's suitable for professional and Olympic athletes, verified label accuracy, and guaranteed purity and potency. But it's not just about products. Momentous is also stepping up with Change the Ratio, a $500,000 commitment to close the gender gap in health and performance science, with only 6% of studies dedicated to women's physiology and biology in this space. They're investing in the research, institutions, and experts who are changing the game for women. So it's more than equity, it's about seeing what's truly possible. So if you're ready to cut through the noise and build a routine backed on real science, check it out. Head to livemomentous.com and use code Sunday for up to 35% off your first order. That's Sunday at livemomentous.com. But you and your husband are both athletes or former
Yeah.
athletes. You guys are still athletic. So does your husband feel the same way about like raising them to like play sports and like have fun with that, but also have like a good relationship where they don't get burnt out?
Very much. I'm very lucky with my teammate in life. He thinks the same exact way. Um, I could get on a pedestal and preach about how I think people are taking away all the fun for kids in athletics, but we won't go there today. Um, I've just seen it so much. I've seen all of these little kids be pushed to, succeed and be the best at like the age of 6, and it just doesn't work that way. I think both my husband and I, having seen it firsthand within the NFL and within the Olympics, you see these people who are at the professional level and they just hate it. It's been a job since they were young, and it was never fun, or they lost the fun somewhere in it.
Mhm.
And for us, we both, as parents, just feel like it's our duty to help our kids find their thing,
Yeah.
whatever that is. And I think you can teach drive, and you can teach, overcoming failures, and you can teach perseverance and stuff all after a kid finds their thing. But
Mhm.
the greatest memories both my husband and I have of athletics was literally just going into the gym or the field or whatever it was and playing and
Yeah.
being kids. And I
Mhm.
think we've lost a lot of that in our culture today. And so for us, I think the psychotic part for us right now is like researching all of these new programs that are like unlocking themselves for our kids and trying to find people who will allow our kids to be kids and not say, you know, you can't show up, or like you can't take a day off, or like all the crazy stuff that they're telling kids these days, which is just not
Yeah.
realistic.
The thing about social media is it's definitely opened up my eyes to so many different parenting styles. And it's
Yeah.
really interesting to see when parents go very one way or very the other way, because I feel
Mhm.
like there's balance in being a parent, and where you have balance, I think that is, like, the best type of upbringing. Obviously, I'm a little biased. Like, my parents were always
Mhm.
very balanced with, like, "Hey, like, if
Mhm.
you play a sport, like, we're not gonna force you to go and get a job, but if you don't wanna play a sport,
Yep.
then you're gonna go get a job. Like, you're gonna do something
Yes.
after school." And they were, like, disciplined, and, like, if you commit to something, you have to follow through, but not so
Yep.
much that, like, "Hey, every year you're doing this X, Y, and
Yes.
Z." And I think that balance is something that really needs to be, like, maintained in this culture now. And I also see it with adults too, though. It's like, what's next? Like the hustle culture, the like
Mhm.
constantly needing to do something and be successful at everything. And it's like, it's okay to fail sometimes, and it's okay to like not like something. And it's also just like a learning process. Like, isn't that life?
I mean, yes, I keep going, preach. I wish everybody knew this. I think it's so funny, just like you were saying, when people become parents, you see this polarization of like people take one side or the other. And for us, exactly what you said is what we're trying to do is like balance. Um, I have friends who are like don't believe in any extracurricular activities at all. Kids should be home with their families. I'm like, that's beautiful, but kids also have like all these things that they want to learn and do and socialize. And then you see the other side of parents trying to like do 4 sports at the age of 3, and there's 4 games on Saturday, and they're not missing a whatever. And I think just finding that middle ground and allowing kids to experiment and have fun is cool.
Mhm.
But it does kind of set them up for either failure or success as an adult, because then they're either overly obsessed with being busy, or they don't know how to start something.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Exactly.
there's so much. It's also different too. My husband and I were blessed and challenged with, we had the very type A perfectionist daughter first, and then we had the wild man second,
Mhm.
and learned very quickly that one parenting style does not work across the board.
So
So
interesting.
the balance side of that has been really interesting for us, because we had to relearn how to parent with our second kid. And then we had to relearn how to parent with our third kid. Every kid is completely different, and they take criticism differently, and they take direction differently, and their passions are different. And it's like learning how to foster that in kids is really challenging and
Yeah.
beautiful. We talk about it all the time, but it's like, how can we do the best for each individual little human?
I think you guys are already, even being aware of that, I feel like you're already, like, so many steps ahead of
Thank you.
parents who are just like, "No, like, it's one size fits all." I actually came across a TikTok this morning, and they were 2 parents sitting down saying that, like, they have 3 D1 athlete kids, and they didn't have any cable TV in the house or video games. And I'm like, "That's not the reason your
No,
kids are D1."
no.
Like, my brother was obsessed with video games, and he
Yeah,
also, like,
yeah,
went to swim at the Olympic trials,
yeah,
it those 2 things don't correlate. I'm like, "How tall are you guys? Because you guys look
yeah,
pretty tall from
yeah.
this video here." Um,
Maybe because they're like 6'4".
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But as you growing up being such a public figure, I mean, America's sweetheart during the Beijing Olympics, how did that change your identity and the way that you viewed yourself?
Oh, wow.
I was gonna say it's a
Um,
lot of pressure, and it's so public.
yeah, it is, and I had my ups and downs. I was very, very lucky going all the way up into the Olympics, going, 0 to 16 years old. I was very lucky to have a community around me and a support group and a circle of people, my coach, my family, my parents, my friends, who were incredible. My teachers, everybody who supported me. It was very like, we don't care what you do. I don't care if you fall flat on your face. I don't care if you even show up for your competition. Like, we still love you. So I felt very good to have like this foundation and identity rooted in like just being me and being a kid. I would say it kind of skewed a little bit just hearing the noise of commentators and,
Mhm.
headlines afterwards, to where as a kid I had a hard time um, figuring out how to keep those voices in my head telling me that I did have value outside of being a gymnast. In the Olympics, especially when the entire world is praising you for being like the best gymnast, it's like, I don't know what else to do. And then afterwards, they're like, are you going to keep going? You should, it's for your country. It's like what you're good at. Um, I had to navigate that for a while. And that was kind of hard because I knew I was done with gymnastics, but I didn't know how to go be something else when the world was telling me the only thing I was really good at was gymnastics. I
Yeah.
got lost in that for a while. Ended up getting desperate as a kid and losing my identity for a while, which sounds depressing. And it was a roller coaster, but it was just a teenage thing too. I went back into gymnastics. I tried to compete in the 2012 Olympics, hated it. I was like,
Mhm.
I still don't want to do this, but everyone was like cheering me on and they're like, this is the best thing ever.
You're like,
And I was
"This
like,
is
I hate
not."
this so much. I ended up retiring right before Olympic trials because I was just burnt, and then started again, tried to find a new thing. And
Mhm.
it was around then that I met my husband. And he, I was 20 when we met, and he kind of helped build me from the ground up just to be a normal human being. And it was the greatest gift I was ever given. But yeah, it was hard. It's hard. I mean, I'm sure by like in a comparison way, like your husband retiring from what he's done for so long and what the world praises him for is really confusing, and it's really humbling, and it's
Mhm.
such a beautiful thing, but it is hard, especially as a professional athlete, to like navigate that because it was such a huge part of your identity for such a long time.
I just wonder how much how m what would be different had there not been the outside noise, because even you mentioning, like, my husband retiring, he looks back at his career and he's so proud of it, like, 7
Yeah.
years in the NFL is a long fucking
Yeah.
time,
That's
okay?
huge.
But so many people on social media, like, kinda degrade his career, and they're like,
Yeah.
"Well, yeah, but you were on practice squad," or, "Yeah, but, like, how many games did you play in, like, your
Yeah.
last season?" And it's so sad because it's such an incredible thing and something to be proud of,
Yep.
but then all the outside noise affects your even vision of, like, what your career was.
Mhm. Yeah. Um, I wish it wasn't there, but it's also such a blessing because it gives you a sense of community and purpose and showcases your story. I was very lucky when I competed in 2008. We didn't have social media yet. It had just started. I think Twitter had just
Yeah.
started. I can't imagine competing in today's world. I cannot imagine, especially as a professional athlete, having your craft that you are the best in the world at. You are the 0.0001%, just being picked apart by people sitting on the couch at home. Um, I wish that noise was better, and I wish we, as like a whole, as
Mhm.
society, could respect that more. But I don't know how you deal with it. Like for me, it was just kind of like I had to fall flat on my face and build myself back up. But it was for me all about keeping my circle really small, and
Yeah.
just when I wasn't able to talk to myself in a positive way, I would lean on those around me to kind of tell me the truth and just like reiterate it until my brain got strong enough to say the same thing. But it sucks. It sucks.
Yeah. It does suck, and I'm like, I look at people criticizing all these people on Love Island like it's their
Oh,
job. I'm like, we should, as humans, not have to pick apart people's every, like, word, every sentence, like,
everything.
all of their flaws. I'm like, this is feeling eerie to me.
It is.
What do you from an athlete perspective, what do you think needs to be changed to better improve the mental health of some of these young
Mm.
athletes?
Oh my gosh. Um,
That's a big question.
a lot of things. I would say I think in the athletic world, in professional sports, I know every professional sport is different. I do feel like the NFL is a little bit better in this world where like they have resources or they make
Mhm.
resources available. But I would say the biggest thing that I would love to see change is, for the most part, athletes are taken care of when they're competing. For the most part, I do
Bare minimum.
heavily believe across the board there are a lot of sports that are missing a lot of things. So without naming every sport, I wish competing athletes had psychologists that were with them, nutritionists, like support.
Mhm.
But it's almost like the day that an athlete retires, people are like, "Oh, they don't need us anymore."
It all
Or
goes away.
it's not even worth, you know, investing time into. And I think that is so sad and scary because all the bad stuff happens when an athlete retires.
Yeah.
And I think there should be like a mandatory lag time of like 2 to 5 years where you have to check in and you have to have support and you have to have a community around you that's helping rebuild you. Because
Mhm.
my husband and I talk about this, professional athletes have a side of them that is not healthy. And I don't mean that in like a dramatic way, but it's like they're able to take their minds to such an extreme level that when you take away that outlet, it takes a while to figure out how to restructure that or how to repurpose that in a different
Yes.
light. And I wish for the mental health of all competing athletes, they had resources to kind of navigate that with someone.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that. I'm, like, thinking to yesterday where my
Yeah.
husband ran a marathon. I'm like,
Yep.
"Oh," like, he has all of this pent up,
Yep.
like, he just needs to do something, so he's
Yep.
running marathons with little to no training. I'm like, "Uh-huh, that makes a lot of sense." But I do think the NFL does a good job, and, like, the NFLPA is very
Yeah.
much for the athlete. I
Yep.
just wish all sports were
Yes.
able to do the same thing because I do agree that, like, a lot of the bad stuff happens when you retire or when you're no longer
Yes.
playing the sport or
Yep.
competing, and it's a huge life shift. I mean, some of these athletes start playing or their sport at, like, 3 or 4 years old, and
Mhm.
then one day it's just gone, and it's like, "What are you doing next?" Like, "Where are you going with that?" I will say thank God now that athletes can start getting paid in college
Yes.
because imagine, like, competing your entire life and then graduating college. Obviously, you have a college degree, but, like, you have no experience. You never did an internship. Like,
Yep.
sports really consumed all of that like a full-time job, but you have nothing to show for it.
Yep. I remember back before NIL, I remember there was a huge discrepancy because I desperately wanted to compete in collegiate athletics, but because of like money and because of like paying off student debt and like all of these things, I ended up having to go professional so I could pay bills. And the fact that I even had to make that decision between like going to college and getting a college education on top of competing and just going to work shouldn't have been an issue.
You know, some people like to switch up their wardrobe or their shoes or, I don't know, their daily routine. Me, on the other hand, I like to switch up my furniture. So I want to take a second to talk about Cort Furniture Rental. Cort Furniture Rental helps every house or apartment feel like a home on day one with high quality furnishings and expert service. You can achieve furniture freedom whenever you need it. So let's say you get a new job or you move off campus, you're moving short term, or maybe you just have a temporary furniture need. Also, maybe you just want to switch it up. And, I'm going to back you up on that one. With Court Furniture Rental, you can enjoy custom packages that fit your space and your life, lease terms that can change with you, a professional delivery, setup, and pickup. I recommend Court Furniture Rental to basically anybody that is in a family that has a professional athlete because you're always moving or you need temporary furniture needs. Maybe someone's coming to stay in town for a few weeks. I don't know what your temporary furniture needs are, but maybe you have some. I'm actually thinking about getting an office space here in Orange County, just something to get out of the house because my toddler wants to play on my computer 24/7. And I have been looking into Cort furniture rental because I don't necessarily need to own the furniture. It might just be a few months here or there. And Cort Furniture Rental has it all. And again, they can build a package that's going to fit me and fit my needs. Everybody needs furniture, and not everybody needs it forever. And furniture shouldn't have to tie you down no matter where you move. Furniture rental is convenient for whenever you get that new job or you're moving short term. Wherever you go, you can enjoy on demand delivery nationwide and again, custom packages that fit your space and fit your life. If you guys are interested in trying out Cort Furniture Rental, you can build your own furniture rental package today at cort.com. That's CORT.com/podcast. There are two types of people in this world: people who like a warm bed and people who don't. And the person who doesn't is my husband. So meet Chili. Is it Chili Pad? So meet Chili Pad by Sleep Me. Its mission is to elevate the quality of human life through cool sleep. The Chili Pad bed cooling system was designed with moms and parents in mind, so it lets you customize your sleeping environment to your personal temperature, ensuring you fall asleep faster and wake up recovered. Chili Pad works with your existing mattress, so it's a temperature regulated, water based mattress topper that precisely controls your bed temperature from 55 to 115 degrees. You guys, I'm not crazy. I'm not going to set it to 115 degrees, except maybe here and there. But I love how buildable these systems are. And they're also designed for one or two sleepers. So if your sleep partner likes to sleep at a different temperature, Isaac's not trying to sleep at 115 degrees, or you only need it for one side of the bed, that's okay too. Plus, you can schedule automated temperature changes to trigger deep sleep and reduce night sweats. Yes, that means your husband can pre-chill his side of the bed for that crisp, refreshing feel, and then it'll cool off even more at 3 a.m. to keep him asleep and spur muscle and mind recovery. So for me, I can preheat my side to a cozy 100 degrees, and then it'll automatically cool down so that I can get deep, cool sleep I need without even knowing it. And that's why professional athletes to power couples swear by Chili Pad. Such a huge fan of this system and a bigger fan that Isaac and I can choose our own temperatures because, we are those two types of people and we are in the same bed. So I love Chili Pad and I recommend it to everybody. If you guys are interested in checking it out, you can visit www.sleep.me/Sunday to get 20% off your Chili Pad with code Sunday. This special offer is available for Sunday Sports Club listeners and only for a limited time. Order it today with free shipping and returns. Try it out for 30 days and you can return it for free if you don't like it with their sleep trial. Visit www.sleep.me/Sunday and see why cold sleep is making me a better mom and wife. If you guys have been following me on social media for a while, you know I love my drinks. Like any type of drink. I actually used to have a little series on social media that I would like try out a new drink every week and I would rate it like 1 to 10 and it would kind of just be all over the place. All that being said, I just love drinks, and a drink that I have been a recent fan of is called Simply Pop. So Simply has launched a new prebiotic soda, Simply Pop, which is the new juicy soda. There are 5 flavors. They have pineapple mango, lime, strawberry, citrus punch, and fruit punch. Simply Pop is a new fruit forward bevy of prebiotic sodas made with 6 grams of prebiotic fiber to support gut health and vitamin C and zinc to support immune function. Which you guys, if you've been following me on social media, know that I have some problems with my gut health and I'm always traveling. So anything to support my immune function, I'm a fan of. That's why Simply Pop contains the same real fruit flavors you know and love, and no added sugar makes for a soda that even a juice would drink. My favorite flavor is the pineapple mango. I just feel like it's so fresh and juicy and it's perfect for summer. And whenever I'm drinking it, I feel like I'm doing something for my body, both immune system and my gut health. And the best part is that, again, no added sugar. So I just feel like you can't beat something like that. I personally highly recommend this, whether you're on the go, you wake up and you want something juicy, or, just an outdoor summer beverage by the pool. Why not? So if you guys are interested in trying out Simply Pop, I'm a huge fan of it. I would recommend heading over to cokeurl.com/simplypop to find out where you can try Simply Pop. Okay, well, I actually wanna, like, move towards
Great.
motherhood a little bit
Yes.
more because motherhood, you go through so many changes, and I would say I'm pretty fresh into being a mom. Like, I've only been a mom for a year and a half plus the pregnancy, but
Yes.
it really does change your entire everything you knew
Mhm.
is now changed. Like, leaving the house, you just can't just leave the house now. You have to leave the house with this and that, and also, is your child coming with or whatnot? Another thing that has kind of rocked my world, and I think is a sensitive subject, is body and, like,
Oh, yeah.
how your body looks after having a baby. And you don't have to talk about this if you don't want to, but
I'm open book.
being an athlete and, like, having so much emphasis on, like, being in shape and your muscles and, like, always, like, being in, like, a leotard, which is essentially just a bathing
Yep.
suit. How did you view your body after having kids, or how do you view it now?
So I had a really interesting experience with this. I have been very open with this. I went through a ton of eating disorders and stuff while I was competing, and especially afterwards, because when I retired, I went through puberty. It was like there was just a lot of things happening, and it
Mhm.
happened on national television. And just like people, the one thing that they wanted to critique was my body. I was no longer that 16-year-old, 7% body fat gymnast. I was just a normal girl, and people didn't like it. And I had a really hard time with that. So I struggled with eating disorders and like the mental health side of that for a long time. Um, and I worked to try to heal that over the span of like 10 years. When I got pregnant, it was like the biggest miracle I have ever felt in my life because it immediately went away. All of that.
Oh.
Every negative talk I had in my head, my obsession with food to a negative side, it all went away. Because for the first time, I didn't see my body in like a vanity light. I saw it as like a tool for my baby.
Mhm.
And it's like in a very quick instant, my worst fear was harming myself. Whereas like I could have cared less before then if I didn't eat enough or whatever it was. Having a baby, I was just like, I need to take care of myself better than I've ever taken care of myself before. And it I don't want to say it cured me, but it helped me so much to see everything in a different light. Yes, I went through times, especially postpartum, where I would look in a mirror and be like, holy smokes, I don't know what that is. Um, Things just looked a lot different.
Yeah.
But I ended up giving myself so much more grace because I understood it was more of a tool than it was how I had treated it for years. I will say it shifted a little bit after the third just because I knew I was done. So it was no longer this like preservation of keeping my body perfect for pregnancy.
Yeah.
It was more so like now I feel like I need to get me back. Um, but because I had 6 years of pregnancy and postpartum, I felt like I had healed mentally enough to navigate those roads um gently.
Yeah.
But yeah, I will say it's rough. There's a lot of things that go in. Your body changes so much. I gained almost 80 pounds with every kid, which is wild on a 4'11" frame.
That
I
is
had a 10-pound baby as my second kid. I
that's
mean,
impressive.
it I wasn't a cute pregnant person. You see these movies and I'm like, that's not me. Um But I was. I was very lucky with my mind because my mind has gone to some very dark places over the years, and I was lucky to not have that while I was pregnant.
It always blows my mind that, like, you and I can have the same baby in
Yeah.
terms of pounds,
Yeah.
but I'm 6 feet tall and
Yeah.
you're 4'11",
Yeah.
and we're having the same experience, and I'm like, "Wow," like, I loved pregnancy, like, I'm like, "Yeah, I had so much space in my body for
Oh,
the
good
same
for
size baby that you
you.
did."
I was I okay, pregnancy is such a blessing. I don't ever want to take it for granted because like we struggled to get pregnant, we had miscarriages and like all these things. But I will say I hated it. I was not
It's
one of
okay to
those
hate
that's
it
like,
and still be
"Oh,
grateful.
yeah." I was like, I just get this baby out of me.
I have to be very sensitive when I say I love being pregnant because I didn't throw up once. I had like a
Yes.
week of like a little bit of nausea, but
Yeah.
aside from that, like I got to 39 weeks and I was like, I could keep going. But people look at me and they're like, I actually hate you. And
Yeah.
like, you know what? Honestly, if I was throwing up or if I was uncomfortable, if I was like super swollen and I had 10 more weeks to go, I
Mhm.
would hate me too. Like that
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense. But I am
Yeah.
very similar to you in that I I think that having a baby and watching my body grow
Yeah.
a baby really healed me in the
Yeah.
way that how I look at my body because you're right. It wasn't like, "Oh, I need to look this way or I need to
Yeah.
do this." It was more so like, "Oh, no, I'm growing a baby. Like, I don't care. I just want, like, my daughter to be healthy, and I'm the tool to do that. Like, why would I
Yeah.
ever do anything otherwise?" And even more so now, I think about it as in, I wanna be here forever. Like, I wanna hang out with my
Same.
daughter. I wanna be running with her. So it's like, I just want the body that's gonna be healthiest for the life I wanna give my daughter.
Mhm. I was we didn't find out with our daughter, our first baby, what we were having.
That's
And
crazy.
I
I
know.
think people are
I
more
highly recommend it. If
crazy.
you decide to do babies again, I highly recommend it.
No, the next baby, my husband's like, "I don't wanna find out," and I'm like, "I wanna find out, so we might find like, I might find out and he might not." I don't know if that would actually work,
My
but
selling point is this. You and Isaac have the cutest relationship, so I really feel like you would like this. There is no better moment than being in the delivery room and having your husband, like, announce to you what you just had.
it feels
I
like a wild dream to me, that's for sure.
it is, but I will never forget, like, Andrew being like, "Baby, we just had a girl." Like, he's holding her for the first time. Anyways, I digress. I remember when I was pregnant, I kept thinking I was terrified of the idea of having a girl because of everything I'd gone through, because of eating disorders and the body image and just the pressures. There are so many pressures on both girls and boys, so I don't want to like diminish that. But the amount of pressures that I had felt as a girl, I didn't know how to parent. And I was like, I just don't know if I'm meant to be a girl mom. I really think God's going to give me only boys because of everything. And so when I found out we had a girl, I was like, oh crap, I don't know how to do this. But it truly, again, that healing process kind of shifted it where I was like, okay, it's time to be a different person than I've been my whole life. And I need to teach my daughter from day one how to love herself because I struggled with that for so long, and it's like it's now my duty as a mom to not only teach her that but show her that. So
Mhm.
it it was the greatest. She's the greatest gift I was given. I mean,
It's
they all are.
interesting. Yeah, you're like, "They're all great." They're like,
Yeah,
they are all my children." But it's interesting hearing that because my husband has the same, like, thought process with having a boy
yeah,
because he's like, "I know growing up in a locker room, like, all the talk, I know how coaches spoke to me, I know, like, the pressures that I had." And, like, even competing, and he's like, especially his dad being in the NFL, like, "I don't want to have a son and, like, him have all those pressures." And, like, yeah, well, we're in control of that. Like, we can change that, like, narrative and, like, let's talk that through. And it's like,
hmm
you can't really choose the gender of your child, so I'm like, it could happen. So, I think now after having a daughter, he's realized, like, okay, like, I think I could have a boy. I'm like, "Well, congratulations, because that was always gonna maybe happen."
yeah.
But it's interesting hearing that, like, it works on both sides.
It's almost like you get a second chance,
Mhm.
which is funny, but like everything. My husband and I will have conversations about that. He's like, I feel like something's coming out in you. Like we should talk about this because you're really obsessed with food with our daughter. What and not in a bad way, but in
Yeah.
like a whatever way. And it's just like I feel like especially with Isaac and the boy situation, it's everything that you thought about, you can't imagine your kid going through, but yet as a parent, you get to teach them there's a reason we went through it all.
Mhm.
And instead of regret it and say like, well, I hope they don't go through it, we actually get to teach them how to deal with it, which is really cool. And I'm still terrified of doing that, but it is neat to see like she is my little twin, and
Yeah.
now it's my job to prepare her for everything that I went through because I'm sure she's going to go through the same stuff.
Mhm. And speaking of going through some stuff, how were your postpartum experiences?
Wild. It's a roller coaster. Postpartum
Were they all very
for
different?
very different. Every single one was completely different, which was shocking.
Mhm.
My first one wasn't bad, but I felt like postpartum was the hardest for me identity wise,
Yeah.
just to kind of like shift into being a mom, not having, your whole life changes.
Yeah,
And I will say postpartum, what people don't tend to talk about is actually really hard on husband and wife more than anything.
for
'Cause, like,
sure.
you're all changing identities, you're trying to figure out how to be mom and dad and husband and wife and try to figure out the changes there. So I feel like postpartum marriage was difficult, just trying to get into the groove of, like, what our new roles looked like. Second postpartum, I dealt with great. I think I was really lucky, though. I heard people talk about having summer babies as being awful because it's so hot, but I actually loved it and thought it helped a lot because I got to be outside and in a pool and just, like,
Mhm.
healing better, I
Being
guess.
able to, like,
So,
walk and
yeah. Um, Baby 3, I feel like I had my first taste of postpartum depression.
mm,
Uh, I didn't realize it until I was through it, but it was not easy to navigate, and I remember the way I described it to my husband was I just kept feeling like I needed help in whatever capacity, whether that was from my husband or from a professional, but
mhm,
I knew something was wrong with me. But I felt like there was so much I needed to do in taking care of the infant and the other 2 kids and just, like, the house and, like, life that I didn't know how to ask for help, and it wasn't until I was through it that I was like, I wasn't myself,
mhm.
and it was, I don't wanna say it was scary, but it was a hard thing to navigate because it was, um, so different than the other 2.
Yeah. It's very interesting for me, like, my postpartum depression, I felt, like, empty, like, I
Yeah,
didn't, like, really look forward to anything, and everyone automatically assumes they're like, "Okay, so you hate being a mom." Like, no,
yeah,
that was the only part that I was confident in, but I
right,
also think, like, the identity shift and
yes,
just life keeps going, but you're kinda stuck in, like, this newborn, like, identity, like, what's going on. There's, like, so much happening in life, and you're like, "Can everything pause for a second so, like,
yeah,
we can figure this out and then we can resume?"
100
When do you feel like you started feeling, like, a little bit better, more like yourself?
every day. Um, I feel like it's still, I don't wanna say still a challenge, but the identity shift it takes a long time, and I wanna give you hope and not give you,
You're
um,
like, "So"
the opposite, but I will feel like after 3 kids, my baby's a year and a half, um, knowing that I'm done with kids for a while, it's the first time I've started to feel like myself again. Like, I've
Mhm,
really put the effort into me and not focusing on, okay, what's the schedule like for when we're going to try to have another one or like whatever it is. It's more like I've really been focusing on me. And I think
mhm.
it's because I did hit such a low point after our third where I lost all resemblance of myself, physically, mentally, everything, that I put such effort into finding me again. And I feel like it's just, we as moms, especially postpartum and especially with our first, you don't think about that. You think your
Mhm,
duty is to take care of a human and to take care of your husband and your job. But what took me 3 kids to figure out is if you don't take care of yourself before all of it, then you can't be a good mom and you can't be a good wife and you can't like function in life. You have to like have your hobbies that are
mhm.
just for you and you have to figure out what you like. I remember I had someone, it was kind of like a, he was kind of like a counselor, but he was putting us through like a workshop, me and my
Yeah.
husband. And I remember him asking me as part of the workshop, one of our assignments was to write down all of our hobbies, things that we like to do. And this was after our second kid. I was pregnant with my
Oh
third.
gosh.
And I broke down crying because I was like, I don't have anything. I can't tell you. He's like, well, what do you mean? Like, do you like to color? And I was like, I don't know. I don't
You're like, "When was
color.
the last time I colored? I got the
Yeah.
chance to color."
Do you like hanging out with, playing, whatever it was? And I was like, I literally don't know what I like,
Mhm.
because the only thing I've done is been a mom for the past 5 years. And it just, that's kind of what sent me on this journey of being like, you know what? I have to find me again.
Mhm.
And I think it just takes time. It takes slow reps, but like reminding yourself that, and your husband, and like the priorities of your schedule, that like you have to have time every week for yourself to go do whatever you want.
Absolutely, and you shouldn't when you're leaving the house and your husband's like, "Oh, what are you about to go do?" Don't ask that question. Like, just
No.
let her go and do sometimes even just leaving the house and driving around, I was like, "Wow," like, "Okay, I'm in the car by myself, I'm listening to music.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, I'm gonna stop and, like, grab something from this bakery."
Yep.
And it allows you just to have, like, free space in your mind, which I'm sure can be hard to find the time to do that with 3 kids. So, like,
Yeah.
how are you making time for yourself with 3 kids?
We are very, very lucky. My husband and I, we have this routine every Sunday where we sit down, we kind of schedule out the week. And the very first things we do is like we go through the mandatory things that like we can't change, whether it's like school activities or work. But then we each get to choose like 2 or 3 chunks throughout the week, whether it's early in the morning or during the day, where we each support each other to have at least a couple hours to go do whatever you want. Andrew can go golf. He can go fly. He's a pilot. He likes to go fly. Um, we like whatever it is, but there's like no questions asked. Like we get our chunks of time. And then on top of that, we'll do like a date night. And then we try to work in, when do we need a babysitter to fill in if one of us isn't available or if we're both out. But we really try to operate to where we set each other up for success, to say, at the end of this week, are you going to feel empty, or are you going to feel like you had a good week for yourself? And we started doing that probably a year ago, and it has kind of changed the game for us. Even if Andrew says, I want to go do a 5 a.m. workout with the guys, and I'm like, oh, shoot, I scheduled something. Let me see if I can. We like make sure
Right.
we're able to support each other in that. And that's been really, really helpful.
I love that. I actually might steal that and try and implement that into my life.
You should. We have had people kind of rag on us for it because they're like, isn't your life like way too structured? And I'm like, I don't think you understand, after kids, you have to be structured. Otherwise, everything falls through the gaps. And if you don't schedule like ahead of time for yourself, us as moms are going to be like, oh, yeah, you can go out and do this. It's no big
Mhm.
deal. Even though in the back of your mind, you're like, oh, I was really wanting to go get my nails done right now.
Right.
Or, oh, yeah, I've got the kids. No worries. But in the back of your mind, you're like, oh, I was going to work out, or like whatever it is. Like actually put it on a calendar so people know, like, oh, that's reserved for her and I can't touch it.
Mhm. It's I mean, everybody has expectations for what they want their week to look like. It's honestly just sitting down and going through both of your expectations and figuring out a happy medium. Because
Yeah.
it's true, like, if I have an expectation that tomorrow morning I'm gonna wake up at 5 AM and go to, like, this yoga class I've been wanting to go to, and then my husband's like, "Oh, actually, I have to do this at this time, so you can't
Yeah.
go," then it's just, like, one person's unhappy, one person feels like a burden, or I don't know, it's complicated. Um,
It is.
yeah, a lot. But I do love all of my friends that are very type A and have schedules. They seem a little bit happier. I'm type B, but I'm like, I think that working off a very fluid schedule would be good for me.
I would highly recommend it. And I will say my husband's very type B. So like I don't want to like sugarcoat this and say like the Sunday scheduling is like our favorite thing to do. It's his least favorite thing to do. But he does like how he feels at the end of the week when we've both had our times and stuff. So I'm like, I need you to sit down 5 minutes. We're going to do this. And so it ends up working out. But I will say, even though we like schedule things and we see what our schedule looks like, it is very fluid. Like it'll move and it'll change, and he can still be very type B. Um, but for me, I'm like, you said this time, that means this time.
Yeah.
So it's always just like a give and take, but it has worked out really well, especially with kids, because
Mhm.
kids need schedules.
Yeah, they really do. Well, I have one last question before we jump
Yes.
into some rapid fire Q&As. My last question is with having such a busy life with 3 kids who play sports and this and that, what is next for you and your husband? Like, what is the next thing you guys like want to accomplish?
Mm, oh gosh.
I mean, if anything,
Um,
hear me
our
talking about like the hustle culture is so toxic, and I'm like, what's
I know.
next? You just had 3 kids, you Olympian, like, what do you want to do?
I actually didn't even interpret that as hustle culture, so you might like this. We have traveled a lot this summer. We try to spend our summers traveling with our kids. So we have been super crazy and on the road. And what I am looking forward to next is our daughter is starting kindergarten this fall in about a
Mm,
month. She's going to a big girl school. She's ecstatic, and I am so excited. Our fall is going to be slow, and I just can't wait to
be
I'm gonna
slow.
bawl my eyes out, but drop her off for her first day of big girl school, and she's gonna be in her uniform, and she's like, I'm dying at the fact that I have a kindergartner, but also it just feels like such a huge milestone, and I'm really, really excited for her.
So it sounds like you guys are just excited just, like, for life as parents and just, like,
Yes.
watching your kids grow up. Oh my god, that's
Yeah.
so sad.
I know, it's so sad. It just gets better. I don't even know how to it just gets so much better somehow.
Oh, that's so refreshing to hear from somebody who is, like, a little bit further into
Yeah.
her motherhood career. It's nice to hear that, and I feel like it's also refreshing for some of the people listening to this to hear that as well.
Yeah.
All right, well, before we end, let's do some rapid fire questions, so it's
Great.
gonna be like this or that.
Cool.
Floor routine or beam routine?
Floor, you can't fall off.
What the hell? The beam? I'm sorry, who
I know.
developed that into a sport? Because
I know.
absolutely no way.
I used to love it, but even watching it, I'm like, I have such a hard time.
No. Hot yoga or reformer Pilates?
Reformer Pilates.
Sleeveless leotard or with sleeves?
Oh, sleeveless. Sleeves suck.
Really?
It's just like suffocating. It's just like,
Yeah. I guess, like, I feel that. Cooking a family dinner, you or Andrew?
oh, can I say together?
Yeah.
Otherwise, me. I love to cook.
Okay. I'm like, "Not couldn't be me." I'm like, "I like to chop things, and that's about it." Which is stronger, mom strength or gymnast strength?
Oh, mom strength. Oh my gosh. You can
Cold
like stop
plunge?
a train.
Yeah, right. Cold
Yeah.
plunge or hot tub for recovery?
Hot tub.
Summer I Turned Pretty or Secret Life or of the American Teenager?
Oh gosh, Secret Life. Oh,
I
such a cringy show. That's
It's
awful.
so cringy, it's so bad, but it was so good. Coaching your kids' teams or cheering from the sidelines?
Oh, obnoxious cheerleader from the sidelines.
Wow. Is Andrew the same way, or is he
Oh,
coach?
yeah. Yeah. Neither of us have any interest in coaching. I just wanna be my kid's most embarrassing, loudest cheerleader ever.
Oh my god. Well, I love that, and thank you so much for coming on. Where can the people find you on socials?
Thank you for having me. And Shawn Johnson or Andrew East anywhere. Yeah.
I love that. All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in and hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you guys next Sunday.